Hi guys, today we're going to be making a cookie that we usually make in the summertime, but it's a good Christmas kind of cookie also. It's called a Mojo cookie, and that was our name for it. A few years ago, Alex's baseball team was on their way to the state finals, and it was in a little town next to us called Sonoma. And my friend Beth and I would walk over before the games would start to this little bakery where they sold like French breads and pastries and stuff, and they had these little Russian tea cake cookies. Well, I worked on it and I figured out my own recipe for it, and they're pretty close, and I think ours might even be better. But every time we would go buy these cookies, the boys' team would win. And if the boys were getting in a tough spot in the game, we'd start passing out the Mojo cookies to all the parents and stuff. So we started making Mojo cookies. So the ingredients are 5½ cups flour, 1½ cups sour cream, 2 cups sugar, 1½ teaspoons vanilla, 3 eggs, 1 cup butter, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And to top the cookies, you'll be using sliced almonds, red raspberry preserves, and you'll be making a light glaze out of powdered sugar. So let's get started. Okay, our first step is to cream 1 cup of room temperature butter and 2 cups of plain white sugar. Next step, we'll mix in 3 eggs, and 1½ cups of sour cream.
Yum.
It sounds gross, but the sour cream actually keeps this cookie really tender.
Tender.
Very tender. Just like Alex's head after he gets a hat from Jessie. What do you think about your red funky hat, Al?
I'm gonna like it.
Okay. I mix this together. You don't have to turn the camera off. This will just take a second. Kind of looks like a lemon pudding at this point. You want to come look in the bowl?
Okay.
Also, remember to scrape down your bowl every so often.
That looks gross.
It does look gross. Vanilla, 1½ teaspoons. It calls for 1 teaspoon in the original recipe that I started working with. But at this point, if you guys have seen any of my cookie videos, you know I like more vanilla. Can you say hi to Johnny?
Try that's a good picture. I'm gonna show it on the screen because
artwork.
it's the best.
Okay. Next step is a teaspoon of each of baking powder and baking soda, and to slowly add in the 5½ cups of flour. We're going to turn off the camera for this because it does get loud and it takes a minute.
And
just
messy.
add it gradually. It gets messy. I added on my flour splash guard. I think it still gets everywhere. Someone needs to create a really good splash guard for KitchenAid mixers because I can't do this without getting covered in flour. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. And yes, of course, I got covered in flour again. At this point, your dough is really sticky dough. You might be tempted to add more flour to it to make it less sticky, but that doesn't help. Just you leave it with the 5½ cups that you put in it. You put it in another bowl and either cover it with saran wrap or some foil or a lid, and just put it in the fridge for a few hours or overnight if you want to prepare it the day before. And we're going to put this in the fridge and we'll be back in a couple hours. Okay, we're back at the cooking board here. We've got our dough. It's just out of the fridge and it's still really cold. This is just how I like to do it. I don't like to do a big sheet of them and then cut them down. So I just start with a smaller piece of dough like this. Make sure and powder your rolling pin, flour your rolling pin, so otherwise it'll stick really bad and will not be fun. You want to go a little bit thinner than you normally would on a sugar cookie. because you're going to be folding this into 3 layers. And it doesn't have to be exact, it's just however you want them. This is how I like to make them, and I'm just trying to give you a general idea. I like to square it off. I've got people laughing in the background, I can hear it.
It's not a laugh. It's like, finish some
Okay,
food.
fine, Alex is making a...
I want to be a tiger.
Okay, so it's pretty square at this point. Now I take the raspberry preserves.
Johnny's already over here. He's like the man.
He'll be back.
He's ready for it. He's like,
Okay.
he's in anticipation.
He's what?
He's in anticipation for you to ask for the pan.
Okay, I'm just kind of spreading out the jam.
Yum.
Once again, does not have to be perfect in the least. Normally, I put the almonds on top once I folded it. They're not sticking very well today, so I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle the almonds on the inside of the cookie instead.
Did you ever put the glaze on before it?
No, because if you put it on before, it'll get all weird. Exactly, John. Weird. Okay, now you just tri-fold it. 1,
I decided to ask because,
2.
you know.
Okay. And then I cut into about inch or inch and a half
Quit being
wide
so
pieces. Pardon me?
I said Johnny needs to quit being so antsy.
Okay, calm down, Johnny. Okay. Come on over. You can come over here if you want.
He's so pumped. Oh,
Okay.
so happy.
Bake from 8 to 10 minutes in a, what do we bake it on, 400 degrees?
Yep.
400 degree oven, and we'll show you the next step. I'm going to go ahead and make the glaze that we're putting on top of the cookies. I take about a cup of powdered sugar. The glaze is not an exact science either. Maybe about a teaspoon of vanilla. And probably about 2 tablespoons of milk. And we'll stir this until it's smooth. So we'll be right back. This is what the cookies look like after they've baked for 8 to 10 minutes, and it's up to you on how long you want to, how soft or brown you want them cooked. Twitter. I mixed up the vanilla, the milk, and the powdered sugar. And the vanilla is so dark and rich that it gave this more of a golden brown color than a white color glaze, but I'm okay with that. And you just glaze a little bit on each cookie. Adds an extra layer of flavor and sweetness to it. Maybe this is what makes it the Mojo and gives it the good luck, huh?
Maybe.
And it kind of makes the almonds stick too, because sometimes the almonds have issues. And that's it. You just let them sit for a few minutes and let the icing soak in. And I'll be back in a couple minutes to let these guys taste one and tell me if they have the true Mojo. Okay, here's the finished product. These are the Mojo cookies. And we're going to give one to Joe, Alex, and Bleckner. Who wants to go first? Nose goes. Alex goes first.
Oh. Ah. Tastes good.
Perfect Mojo.
Awesome.
Jojo. Do they have Mojo? Same Mojo as before? And Johnny, do they have Mojo? You like it? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.